Hello everybody. In response to some of the stuff I've been putting up on Facebook about my scratch build helmets, I had a lot of questions on exactly how I do it. Very simple, very easy, very inexpensive compared to the alternative of buying. Not as difficult as the paper builds, I'm sure could be. It's actually pretty simple. If you have a basic knowledge of how to use basic hand tools, where to pick up these materials, you could probably do just fine if you have some creativity as well as a lot of patience. So I've built at this point 3 scratch build helmets using buckets from Home Depot or Lowe's, as well as hard hats. Gluing them together with hot glue, trimming them, putting Bondo to fill in gaps in certain areas and whatnot. So right now in this first video I'm going to go over what exactly you need to get started as far as tools go, and then materials, and then some costs. So sorry if I talk too fast, you can rewind it or whatnot, but I've also got pictures posted down below with different stages of the 3 helmets that I've built. Okay, so start off with, as far as the materials that you need, I recommend getting 2 5-gallon polyvinyl buckets. I'm not sure if the regular white painter's buckets will work. This idea came about through something that I caught on the Merc site under like a tutorial of scratch building a helmet, where the guy said Homer buckets for your bucket or something of that nature. I'll try to find that link again so I can give this guy's full credit. But I did find the tutorial a little bit vague, and I more or less had to create this guy with less information that I know now. So you need two Homer buckets or 2 Lowe's buckets. The Lowe's ones are blue. And you also need a hard hat. Now the hard hats come in many different varieties. This is a this will not be getting turned into a Mandalorian helmet. This was a graduation gift. But anyhow, as you can see, these helmets here that I've been using, or these hard hats I've been using, have a ridge. Some different varieties have different kind of designs. Some have like a V, and then some, the elusive, perfectly round hard hat, depending on how much money you want to spend. I would imagine that this hard hat online would probably be right around 20 to 30 bucks. These hard hats, on the other hand, that I used for the 3 helmets that I've built, cost about $7 to $8. Okay, so the Homer buckets are about $3 a piece, and then you've got the hard hat, which is about $7. So do the math. Okay, so you get those. The next thing that you're going to need are templates. So on the Merc site, there are templates on the Boba or the Jenga helmet paper scratch build. You don't need to print out the whole thing. I did the first time, and it was a waste of paper and a waste of ink. You can scroll through. The only templates I use are the inner surface templates, which more or less represent the front of the helm, and it wraps around the back. You need the T-visor with the cheek cutouts. You also need the cheek templates. Okay, so I print those out, get them taped together or whatnot, and ready to use. So next, as far as materials go, Bondo. If you're going to do using the Bondo, I'd recommend getting some throwaway gloves, because the stuff's nasty, it gets everywhere. Also, be in a ventilated area. The proportions, I usually mix up about a golf ball size amount of the big white paste, or the grayish paste, to a pea-size drop to a pea and a half. The more of the hardener that you add, the faster it will set. And then this is the consistency I usually go for. You can see the color once it's mixed up. If you have more hardener, the hardener is red, and so the more pink or the darker it gets, that just means the less time you have to apply and clean before it starts to harden up. You also need a hot glue gun. This is an inexpensive one from like Joann's. They have coupons. I think this is like 14 bucks, but they have, like, if you download the app for your phone, they have 40% off coupons all the time. And that's usually how I buy my glue as well. I get a large pack of glue. I think it runs $7, but I only pay $3 for it. And then same with the glue gun, I ended up paying like half price. You go through quite a bit of glue, especially on your first one. Be careful, it is hot. The hot glue gun is the only tool you have to have in my building arrangements. Okay, other than that, power tool, excuse me. Other than that, you need either a pair of scissors. I do believe like a heavy-duty scissor can cut through the Homer buckets or the Home Depot buckets. I recommend tin snips. I cut my buckets with the tin snips. I also cut the rim off the hard hat with tin snips. You need a razor knife, kind of like a box cutter. I don't have one here to show you, but I also have these little like modeling tool scalpels that I use for small areas. You need a couple of A-point or piercing screws. These are really good. I'm kind of running low right now. I usually get them from work, but it's a Dottie brand half-inch piercing tip screw. But any old box of screws you can pick up from Home Depot, probably a couple bucks. If you do this, everything's driven from the outside in screw-wise. You probably need some cutters, some lineman pliers you can use, or some diagonal cutters or dikes. I usually use my Dremel tool with a metal cutting blade. So since we're getting into the optional tools, a Dremel help in cutting plastic, cutting the metal screw tips, as well as sanding if you have those attachments. A jigsaw. You could use a jigsaw to cut either like the Sintra that I've used on my third helmet. I used Sintra on the cheeks. Worked out a heck of a lot better than the bucket material, but the bucket material works. Be very careful. Wear safety goggles as well as with your Dremel tool. Any of the power tools where there's moving objects and chances of kicking stuff up in your eyes. Protect your eyes. A drill. I put almost all my screws in by hand. If you'd like to ease the process of trying to drive a screw in, you can pre-drill with like a smaller than your screw drill bit. But again, not necessary. I do it by hand. A heat gun. If you're using the Sintra for the cheeks, the Sintra that I use, I was left over from my body armor pieces. You could also use this to heat up the plastic to kind of bend the cheeks. Bending and molding the cheeks are probably the hardest part of this whole process. Alright, so I'm going to stop here. We've got a basic rundown of our materials, our tools, and then we'll go from there.